friendly neighborhood Nick.
Is that what we're going with?
Joined by the Goldilocks gamer himself, Jay.
Right, yeah, although it doesn't really seem, well, it's kind of like that. At the minute, it's not much like that. I'm taking things a lot slower with something.
Let's just be thankful Nick only half mucked up the intros.
Sure.
Jay, we got so much to talk about. Biggest show to date.
Yeah, well, we are recording this the day after the PlayStation 5 event, so we've got quite a bit to talk about, I imagine.
Correct. I can't wait to discuss this with you. We watched it together last night.
Yeah.
Let's just get right into it, mate.
And so something I realised is that Xbox's event they did was actually just their third-party stuff, wasn't it? So we've still got their first-party event to come yet, haven't we?
Do you think there'll be one?
I imagine so.
I hope so.
I have to check, but yeah, I hope so.
This is the first time we've been conscious gamers in a new generational cycle.
Yeah.
Like, we just saw what is probably one of the best console reveals, I would say, conferences. Let me just pass the baton over to you. We saw it together last night. I want to go through each game. Let's start off with our general reactions to the conference. You've reflected on it. What were your thoughts about last night's PS5 reveal event, Jay?
Well, I predicted, I think, at least one of the games, which was the new Spider-Man, which I think has actually been confirmed to be like an in-between game.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Miles Morales one, because at the end of the first game, spoilers, Miles was sort of like, he began his spider powers essentially. His spider powers started to flourish.
Yeah.
And show themselves in front of Peter. So I think Peter's probably given him some tutelage, trained him a little bit, and now he's doing his own thing. And it's also set in the winter as well, so it looks like I want to say the first game was set in the fall or the autumn. So this one's probably set in winter, which gives you all the snow and the Christmas stuff around. So I'm hoping that the next Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2 essentially, is going to be probably in either the spring or the summer of the year after.
That'd be really good. Okay, yeah, no, that would be cool because firstly, any game set around winter/Christmas is like quite rare, apart from like Dead Rising 4, so that's cool.
Yeah. I think because it's coming out during the holiday season this year, it sort of makes sense.
Yeah, but what's your overall like feeling reaction towards the whole event? Like, how do you feel about these games?
Yeah, I've thought about it a bit more now. I think they definitely could have shown more, but it sort of means to me that they've probably got more to show. Either that or that literally was it. I don't know. Hard to say.
So you don't feel quite as overwhelmed as some other people on the internet about this event, so to speak?
I wouldn't necessarily say overwhelmed.
Overjoyed, maybe.
Overjoyed, yeah. I'm overjoyed about a few. It's just I've now watched some reactions of some other people, and they've sort of grounded me a little bit, as it were.
See, interesting, because I've seen reactions which have made me think maybe I've been too harsh on it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I mean. Or actually, I kind of mean both ends. Like, there's parts of it where I'm thinking, oh, I was probably too harsh on that, but not harsh enough on this.
Yeah.
So I've sort of gone from, the far right and the far left, and I've come a bit more central with everything when it comes to how my expectations surrounding a few of them.
Has this conference convinced you to buy a PS5 at launch?
Yeah.
Really?
But only because of Spider-Man.
Oh, this is big. I didn't know. We didn't discuss this.
Not because of Horizon. I think Horizon will be good, but I'm not
That's
as
not
much
your
of
thing.
a fan. Yeah, it's at the minute it's not as big of a thing for me. And also, if there is going to be another Kojima game, and it is probably more than likely going to be a PlayStation exclusive, then I'm going to have to be ready for it. But I don't think we're seeing that for a while.
Yeah.
Plus, it's Godfall. I mean, Godfall looks good, and I think it's an exclusive.
So you think are you willing to sacrifice Valhalla for like a month for the PS5, or will you buy both consoles at launch if you can?
I think I might have to. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So
I mean, I've saved up like over a year for this, so
yeah.
I think if as long as they're nothing above 500 each, then I'm probably okay.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that it's probably going to be either 550 or 600 for one of them.
My
I don't
word.
know. I mean, I've watched a lot of videos of people explaining how the equipment inside of them is worth well over 450. So yeah, it just
Oh,
depends on. I mean, it all depends on how much they think they're going to sell. If they think they're
yeah.
going to sell big, they'll lower the price slightly. But if they don't think they're going to sell big, then they'll probably keep it at a medium to high level price.
Yeah. Okay. And that's interesting then. So essentially, we've seen some games that have convinced you that you pretty much need a PlayStation near launch, if not launch day,
I
for PS5.
I mean,
It's
it
so cool
depends.
to
It
say that.
depends when launch is, because if launch, I mean, chances are I'm probably going to have to get it straight away, just because they're probably going to sell out, or
Do
they're
you
going to
think
sell
so?
pretty quick.
Okay.
I mean, I doubt it, because I don't think I've ever actually bought a console launch before. I've bought
Yeah.
one near launch, like maybe a month after. I think I bought the 360 like a month after, and I probably bought the one about a month after as well. So, whereas I bought
Okay.
the PlayStation 4 like 2 or 3 years after. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
hard to
It's
say.
so exciting to say PS5 in a sentence. It's so exciting
I think
to,
the biggest thing I can take from this is the fact they've got a digital edition and a physical disc edition, I guess you could call it, right?
yeah. So
One that does
let's
a
go
disc-free version
straight.
and a non one.
Let's go straight into the console now, and we'll talk
Yeah,
about the games in a bit. So,
definitely.
like you say, Jay, they've got a digital edition. None of us saw that coming.
I
Xbox
did.
have already done
I
that.
saw it.
Okay, Jay saw it.
I was hoping that Xbox were going to do it. I thought if Xbox are going to do it, they're going to be non-disc. They have to be. And then I don't know. I still don't know if it's got a disc drive or not. It looks like it does.
The Xbox.
Yeah.
The Xbox has an all digital edition.
Has all
You,
digital, does it?
yeah. You can get an Xbox One S, I think, which is all digital, no
Oh
disc
no, I
drive.
meant the new one. I meant next
All
gen.
series that, yeah, no, we haven't heard anything about that yet. No,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
they'll probably talk about that in July when they do their event.
Well, now I feel like there's been so many rumors about the Lockhart being this discless console, if it exists, right? The lower spec one of the
Oh,
two,
I'm
and
hoping it's not lower
there's
spec. It
there's so
better
many
not be. I'm
rumors
gonna be so
now.
pissed.
There's so many rumors now that basically PS5 have kind of beat him to it a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though Xbox have already done an all digital edition with their Xbox One series, so it's not that bad. But
Yeah, I'm looking at the Series S now, and it does look like there's a slit in it that looks like a disc drive, right?
there is an all digital edition. The Xbox One S isn't discless, but they have an all digital edition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. How are
Um,
they going to do it though? With this new one,
are they going to do it?
and
Well, no, Jay.
the thing is though, the thing I can't comprehend is why it would be less processing power if it didn't have one. Because you'd think it would have more processing power because there's more space, right?
Yeah,
Technically, you've taken something away, so there has to be more space in that gap where there's no disk drive.
I don't think they'll make it say, "Oh, if you get a discless one, it'll be more powerful," because I think that will really confuse
No,
people and
I don't
annoy
think it will be
people.
either more or less powerful. I think it will stay the same amount of power, if anything.
Yeah,
Because it's not having
yeah,
to read off of a disk either, so if anything, it probably should be at least a little bit more powerful.
yeah. I'm
Because it's
not.
straight
Oh,
from memory rather than having to read off of a disk sometimes.
yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be the same power. Yeah. If
Same if
like you
not
say,
slightly
if
better.
not more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon the digital one might even be like £50 more.
Nah, no chance, mate. Digital one will be cheaper.
Hmm.
It's not got a disc drive in it. That
Yeah,
costs
you're right.
money.
Actually, yeah, you're right. That would cost more to develop, so maybe it's the other way around.
The price, we don't know the
Oh, I don't
price
know.
yet of the PS5. So I can't help but think because they revealed the digital edition, it's going to be over 500 quid. That's my initial reaction to that.
Hmm.
I'm also curious to see how well the digital edition sells and how much that incentivizes digital copies of games, whether people will actually buy this digital edition. Jay, what do you think on the look of the PS5?
Yeah, there's a lot of memes already. Like
Bad
within
memes, good
literally
memes?
within like hours or like within the hour, there was already memes of like people taking the piss of how it looks. I think, but yeah, by meme I don't necessarily mean bad, just by making fun of just for the sake of it, but not in
Oh,
like a
sure.
bad way, just sort of like as a funny, oh happens to look like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it looks fine. I've seen it actually on its side as well,
Yeah.
because you can have it. I mean, the way they have shown it is upright, but I think you can have it on its side as well, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually don't know which way I prefer it. I think I prefer it standing up. It almost looks like a trophy to me. Like I've seen like football trophies have this style of look to them. Well, they sort of
Yeah.
like wide at the bottom, thin in the middle, and then wider at the top, sort of that like hourglass look. Whereas the new Xbox is just a straight, rectangle, like cuboid. So I think I technically prefer the Xbox look, but this is sleek and smooth and weird looking, so I don't know. I'm a little bit annoyed the fact that it's white though. That's the one thing. We did talk about this last night.
Yeah, you prefer the
It's got to be all
standard
black,
default
man.
being
It's got to
blank.
be.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised they did this, honestly.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Weird. It's very odd of them to do.
It's surprising they've moved to white. I am surprised. Will they have a black edition for launch? I don't know.
I hope so. I'm hoping they'll have like a Spider-Man special one.
Probably.
They did with the last one. They had an all red one, didn't they?
Yeah. I think it's interesting to see it move to white because white does feel more futuristic than black to me.
I think that's probably what they went with. They probably went with like a sort of clean look rather than just a normal, black, I guess.
And also, I've heard some people say that PlayStations have always been in innovative designs, and I have to disagree with that. I think the PS2 is a box. I think the PS4 is a box, but
yeah, I mean they're all boxes, aren't they? Xbox,
Well, yeah, you know what I mean, though. Like the Xbox 360.
Weirdly, the PS5 looks a lot like the 360, right?
Yes.
In terms of its actual shape, like big at the bottom, skinny in the middle, big at the top.
It does.
Very similar.
Let me give you my thoughts on the console, Jay. Yeah, I don't like the look of the PS5.
Okay.
Now it could change when it's in my hands. Maybe I'll change my mind, and like when it's in,
on, next to the TV, you'll be like, oh,
right.
I don't even need to bother by how it looks, just as long as it plays fine.
And like maybe it does look a lot better in person, but from what I can see from the design, I feel like it's trying to be futuristic and it completely fails. I think the Xbox Series X looks more futuristic to me than the PS5 because of the minimal design, because of the rectangular shape.
Yeah.
But yeah, my initial gut reaction is like, oh no, I don't like how the corners of the top come out. I like how the fan looks streamlined, but I like the blue lights, but it looks bigger than the Xbox Series X. It looks like an Xbox 360. And I showed India. She was like, I don't like that at all. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I like it either.
I like the way the controller looks.
Yeah, me too.
I like the fact that it's fatter. I much prefer a fat controller than a skinny one.
They've learned. They know the Xbox One is the best controller ever made, and they're trying to be more like Xbox.
They're sort of gone the Goldilocks way. Not too thin, not too fat, just in the middle.
The Goldilocks way. I like the DualSense a lot. I'm looking forward to playing with that. I think it could be really good. Okay, so should we dive into the games, Jay? Do you think have you covered the console enough? Do you think? General thoughts, Jay, on the fact we know what the PS5 looks like? Pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I mean, as long as it can breathe. That's my whole thing. I want this thing to be able to be cool at all times. I don't want it getting hot like my bloody PS4 does.
So yeah, you
my
still
main concern actually is just like we had with a lot with consoles whenever they first come out, is they always tend to break, like something malfunctions. Like either the motherboard blows because they get too hot. They get too hot, so maybe in the disk drive, like disk drive is one of the biggest ones to always fail. They're like the first thing to fail. So I'm hoping that we have none of those problems. That's part of the reason why I don't want a disc one, is because I never buy discs and they always fail on me. So
yeah, there's a history there of consoles failing, so I can understand your reservations about the functionality, and hopefully everything goes smoothly. So without further ado, let's dive into the games, Jay.
Yeah.
So I've got a list up on Eurogamer. This
Mhm.
comes from Summarized Nicely by Lottie Lynn
Mhm.
and Matthew Reynolds. So they did a nice summary, so that's why I'm taking it off for them. So
Mhm.
I would like to talk about the exclusives first, Jay, if that's okay, and then go into the third party stuff we saw, if
Okay.
that's okay. So I want to start with Horizon 2 Forbidden West, because why would I not start with this game?
Yeah, makes sense.
Jay, I adore Horizon Zero Dawn. My brother loves Horizon Zero Dawn. I know millions of people love Horizon Zero Dawn. It was new, it was refreshing. The combat was unlike anything else. The world was unique. The story was unique. And Aloy's a fantastic character. And we finally have confirmation that Horizon 2 is coming. The name has not helped. So people are calling it Horizon Zero Dawn 2 Forbidden West. People are calling it Horizon 2 Forbidden West. I think it's very much Horizon 2 Forbidden West or just Horizon Forbidden West. Jay, the trailer looked fantastic. I loved how they've waited until now to show it. My concern is, please just give it as much time as you need to make it the best possible game it can be, please, because
Yeah.
I know the original took a long time, about 5 to 6 years. So please just give it as much time as you need, Gorilla. And I can't wait to play it. The trailer looks fantastic. I'll probably not see anything else on it. I don't need to. This is one of those games which is convincing me to buy a PS5 at launch. Jay, any thoughts on Horizon 2?
Yeah. I want to say Death Stranding was obviously on the Guerrilla Engine. I reckon they probably they probably took some code from them to sort of like help with that. Because if you look at the first Horizon game and the graphics on that compared to Death Stranding, there's definitely like a upgrade there. So I
As in
imagine
from
them.
the first Horizon to Death Stranding, there's an
Yeah, I
upgrade.
reckon because
Okay.
it's the same engine, I would imagine they would have updated it. So I reckon they probably updated it again for this game even more. Because
Yeah.
like some of what we saw in the trailer, I think definitely was in game. Might not have necessarily been gameplay, but I reckon it was definitely in engine. So or like in
Oh yeah, I
game.
think all of it was an engine, some of it
Yeah.
gameplay, to be honest with you.
hmm
Um,
It was very impressive. Like it's definitely one of the first trailers I saw and thought, okay, this is definitely a next gen game.
Great.
Like it was definitely a
Yeah.
bump. Me playing Horizon now has sort of made me look at it and go, it's definitely a bit of an older game right now. You can kind of tell.
Really?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
remember
it
it
still
being
looks
gorgeous.
amazing,
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
look at, I mean, you look at some get like, you look at the more recent type. I mean, you could probably look at Last of Us compared to the first Horizon game, and Last of Us is like,
Sure, sure.
way out there. So I think if
No, I
the
feel
first
you.
Horizon game was made on PS4 this year, it would have looked better, but it still would have been, the same
Yeah.
thing. So
No, I feel you. I feel you. And it's funny you say that, Jay, because it links back to my issue, I guess, with games looking too good. Because we'll get onto this, but when I was finishing Wolfenstein 2 Season Pass, I was
yeah,
like, oh, this game looks so good. And I'm not even playing these games on 4K or anything. This is just 1080p. And I remember Horizon 1 being absolutely stunning when it first came out. But you're
yeah.
right. I think another example of a game looking next gen. Jay, this does not have a release date, which makes me think that
I can't
one,
remember what they said. Was it 2021 or did it not
their
say it at all?
plan, I don't think they said it at all. Their plan for this as a launch game, I don't think will happen,
No.
unfortunately. And I think this will be 2021. So,
Yeah, it says will likely arrive sometime in 2021. I reckon it'll probably be end of 2021, maybe holiday 2021.
yeah,
I'd be surprised. I'm
yeah.
sure. I'll probably say it's September.
I think that's a great,
I'd
great
say
period, Jay.
most AAA games that are like of high quality like this tend to come out around the September time, don't they?
I think since Destiny, people have been really eyeing up the September slot.
Oh, September slot is important as hell. I'd say it's probably one of the biggest ones.
Well, it's like the
Weirdly,
first major launch, isn't
September.
it?
Yeah, September is sort of like the major stuff, and then November is where like Call of Duty comes in and
Yeah,
a few other
yeah.
things. So
Your necessities, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, well, moving from my, my absolute mind blown moment of the conference, we're moving on to yours, Jay.
yeah, man.
Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Take it away.
Yeah,
What were
as
your
much as
thoughts?
I love Spider-Man, the story of like each character can be they're not like they're kind of fun to read the comics, but they can be a bit hard to follow. So there's only so much I know about Miles's powers. The only thing I do know is that they are different. I'm
Yeah.
guessing you've seen the film, right? Spider-Verse.
No,
Oh, dude, you need to watch that.
it's on my list. Don't worry, I
Before you
will.
play this game, you need to watch that film.
Okay, understood.
100%. So you need to watch it in a few months or so.
Yeah, no, I can do that.
It's weird because it was
Mate.
on my list for so long, and I can't believe I didn't watch it. And I think there was a bit. It was like one of those things where it came out, it did really really well, but because I had missed the initial release of it, I sort of felt like I'd been left out almost,
Yeah.
and that it had been overhyped, and I thought, it's probably not even that good. But then when I actually watched it, I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Makes sense.
No, yeah. You know when I told you we watched Far From Home the other day, it was literally either that or Into the Spider-Verse, whatever it's called.
Okay.
So yeah.
Um,
So Jay, were you excited by the trailer? Does it look good? What are your thoughts?
yeah, it's only like a minute long. It was very teasery, didn't show off much.
Sure.
But we still don't know if this game's going to be full length, 30-hour plus, or if it's going to be like between 10 and 15.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's probably like around the 15.
No real details on the game
Now,
length.
one of the first things I did actually after we stopped talking last night was I went to Insomniac Games' head designer, because I've been following him since Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And all the questions in his Twitter were basically like, can you confirm this? Can you confirm this? Is it a full game? Is it not a full game? And he wouldn't talk about it. So I think they'll probably hopefully release some details in the next few months.
Yeah, slightly led the conference.
Yeah, this was like right after
GTA.
GTA, I want to say. Yeah.
Yeah. So and the coming out looks like coming out launch day.
Yeah, I mean, if not
coming out this year.
Yeah, holiday 2020. So around launch, either right after or maybe a few weeks after.
That will sell consoles if that comes out with the.
Yeah, if that comes launch and they do a special edition, I'll get that instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even before. I mean, I'm hoping they do. I mean, I don't think they'll do a special edition with Valhalla. It'd be cool if they did, though.
They might do. They might do. What, PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox.
Yeah, they might do. They might do. Yeah. Jay, any concerns with this Spider-Man game, or you just have full faith that you're going to love it as much as the first game?
Yeah, I think I have faith. Yeah, okay. I have faith in it. I mean, I try. The first one is like probably is my favorite game of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to. It moves around so often. Like the top 3 is like a fluctuation depending on the day. Honestly.
Jay, next one, Gran Turismo 7. I have nothing to contribute here apart from the fact that I wasn't too impressed by the graphics. Just being a bit harsh, being honest here.
There's definitely a market for it. It's quite a niche one, but it's out there. I've played 5 and 6. They're fine.
Sure.
So yeah, if you like a very true to real world as you can get racing game, then there's someone out there who will love it more than anything else.
Yeah.
I'd say actually there's probably quite a large Japanese market for this. Weirdly, tends to be the one that most of the Japanese market go for.
Okay, I wouldn't know, to be honest.
Yeah, from what I've seen, it's styled in a way that's very Japanese. It's like all very small text, very clean, it flows really well, which you tend to get with a lot of these. I guess you can call them, like, in quotes, designer Japanese games.
Yeah.
They just look a certain way, so I imagine that's how it'll go.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Jay, this was a wonderful, wonderful surprise to see.
Yeah, I think I even called it when we were watching it about how all the sort of like teleporting stuff and going through rifts, as it were. That was definitely like that was basically a tech demo. That's basically what that was.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jay. I was overwhelmed by the trailer, but you were noticing, and I've seen it on repeat. Yeah, I've seen it on repeat now.
The trailer again.
Yeah,
and like you could definitely tell if you're not watching it in 60 frames, you can tell the sort of the jitteriness between each of the transitions and the loading times. But if you watch it in 60, it tends to.
Yeah, and when Ratchet's in the portal, that is the loading screen. You can almost tell that's like the transition of worlds,
and it's very quick. Like some of it is like less than a second. So
yeah, it's pretty.
Sometimes you'll blink and miss it. So it's if they can keep that. I mean, I'm guessing they're hoping for 30 frames on that, but 60 would be amazing.
I think Ratchet and Clank 2016 was 60, but I could be wrong. But 60 would be ideal.
I mean. Actually, I have something to say about a game that's coming up, so we'll talk about that in a bit, about frames.
Sure, yes. Okay, fine. Rift Apart, mate. I wonder how much of this technology is influencing the story and I'll be interested to see whether this is a continuation of the reboot, thing that they did in 2016. I'm so thrilled to see Ratchet and Clank back. This
Yeah,
is
it's still got the love. Like, you'd think that part of you would think that Ratchet and Clank is like a dead thing at this point, but I know there's probably some people who probably either are or aren't surprised that this is a thing still.
yeah, like you say, Jay. It is surprising that it's still got the
Been
love,
around for
but
so long.
this is a system seller for me. If this comes
Oh,
out,
100%, yeah.
if
I
this comes out
associate Ratchet and
launch,
Clank with PlayStation, so that makes sense.
yeah, and there's no launch period for this, so I am slightly worried that some of these games aren't even going to be 2021 games, which I'd be really sad about. But I'm hoping they are, and this is a big deal for me. I can't wait to play this game. A good point made by some of the streaming I was watching. These trailers, even in 1080p, they aren't 4K, and I've got a 4K TV, like ready TV. So whenever I get a system that does do 4K, hopefully my TV will be able to do that to a good degree.
Yeah,
So I'm hoping that at the start of this generation, I'll see some notice with the 4K, and I'll obviously talk to you and the guys listening about whether I can really notice the difference. But this
I
will
don't think
be
I'll be doing 4K for a long time. That's just too expensive
really,
for me at the minute. Yeah.
Jay. You can get like a 4K TV for like 300 quid.
Yeah, I think I'd have to wait for a bit.
All right, fair enough. Just letting you know.
I mean, I have to get the console first, and then I'll probably save another year, and then
no, yeah, fair
then I'll
point.
start getting some 4K ready stuff.
Fair point. Any other thoughts on Ratchet and Clank, Jay?
Well, just happy to see that it's still going.
Yeah, man, 100%.
Yeah.
Jay, next up, Blue Point's rumored remake they've been doing since Shadow of the Colossus, which was fantastic. Demon Souls. You've played Dark Souls 1 and 3 and Bloodborne all the way through. You're pretty skilled at the franchise. Any history with Demon Souls? Are you excited about this game?
Yeah, I think I touched Demon Souls very briefly, and
Okay.
I didn't like it. It was definitely too different for me.
I know people say Dark Souls 1 slow compared to Bloodborne, but Demon Souls is even slower, isn't it?
I don't think it was necessarily the speed of it. It was more like a lot of it was graphics.
Okay. Yeah.
Weirdly, I mean, even Dark Souls 1, the graphics definitely don't hold up, and not very well. But
Which is
Demon
why
Souls
they
is
remade
basically
that.
like a worse version of that, essentially. So I think I might actually play this because I tell you what, I've looked at some of the comparison photos, and oh my god, this thing looks amazing.
Yeah, I have to say, the Souls games didn't start getting good looking until probably Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne. You're right.
2, actually. 2 was definitely a lot better looking even than 1.
Okay. And
Yeah.
Demon Souls, as you say, does not age well. So you probably go check this out, are you?
Yeah, probably. I probably won't get it straight away. It might be one of those things where I've got nothing else.
Sure.
And if I'm in the mood for it, then I'll play it. But I mean, it might be something I touch in 3 or 4 years. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Blue Point have made this from the ground up. So, like with Shadow of the Colossus, you wonder any gameplay changes they make and any, quotation marks improvements they make to the controls, enemy health, whatever. So, it'll be interesting to see that. But definitely a streaming game. Can't wait to see people play this game because I ain't playing it. So, cool.
Yeah. If I don't play it, then I'll watch other people play it in preparation for it. So.
Yeah. No released thing. Apparently it's in the PS5 launch window, Demon Souls. So that'll be mad.
That's actually impressive, yeah.
It
looks done. Like, it doesn't look like it needs much more polishing, to be honest. It looks fine.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, not to discredit the validity of Blue Point's work, but again, remakes they have a foundation,
Yeah, definitely.
They're not doing a new IP. So if that is true, that is crazy and might also be a system seller for some, from software fans, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Jay, Project Athia.
Yeah, I have a lot to say on this.
Okay.
So I've gotten some opinions and reactions to this from people who I trust online. So I think the first thing I want to say about it is made by Square Enix, so that's good. It's also the same team who did Final Fantasy 15, so even better. It definitely looks like a Final Fantasy, because this was basically what was being rumored to be the next Final Fantasy game, but I don't think it
Hmm.
actually is. I mean, there's definitely a chance it might be, but the fact that it's called Project Athia, I don't think that's actually its last name. I think that's like a development name.
Hmm.
Um, and usually, when a Square Enix has a name with project in it, they tend not to get made. So what we've seen might actually be like pre-alpha. Like it might not even be a whole game yet. It might literally just be like a very minimal section of a thing they've got an idea for, which can be quite bad because there might be a chance we'll never see this game.
Well, and also Project Athia is a working title.
Yeah, I think there's
So,
definitely a high likelihood we won't see this until late 2022, if not more. Basically, what people are
mm,
saying is just forget this game exists for now and wait a few more E3s
well,
because we
that's
won't hear anything
interesting
about this for a
because
while.
I think you might be right, Jay, but I'm thinking that if it's designed exclusively for PS5 and the trailer did look impressive, though perhaps a bit tech demo-y, I'm thinking if they missed the launch window even a year after, people might, see this game and be like, "What's the point?"
Now,
Um,
I don't think they should even have a launch window. I think they should literally be this will be like a type of thing like Cyberpunk, where we won't hear about it for years and it'll just come back all of a sudden, or it won't. So like loads of games that
Interesting.
have been shown at E3 haven't been made.
Yeah,
They just,
sure, sure,
they just
sure,
like
sure.
the company went bust or something. So I mean, this company definitely won't go bust, but
It it'd be
things can
interesting to see if
fail
this
halfway
never.
through.
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see if this never comes up again. It would be
I mean, I
interesting.
want to. It looks awesome. So I have to,
It was
keep an eye
cool.
on
It
it.
was. I think for us when we were watching the conference, this was possibly another moment where we were like, "This looks next gen."
Yeah, no, it
Um,
definitely looked next gen, 100%. I mean, even Final Fantasy 15 at times looked next gen, even though it's
yes.
an old game. It's 2016 it came out. It came out very ages ago.
What? What?
Um, but the game at points definitely looked buddy, like
Yeah,
way ahead of its time. So
yeah. All right.
yeah,
Next up, Jay. Returnal. I
yeah,
do not
Returnal.
like
This
that
looks.
name.
I think it's quite interesting. This, the eternal and you're returning. It makes sense.
Oh, it makes sense. I just, bit
Yeah,
bit
I
cheesy
think
for me.
you said this was made by people who did a twin stick shooter, right?
Yeah, let me. So they did Resogun,
Yeah,
and I forget which game Resogun is. So bear with. I
yeah.
mean,
I'm now
it's
looking at it.
it's
It doesn't.
basically like a side-scrolling shooter.
Yeah,
So yeah, not twin stick. That's my bad. But
it does
side-scrolling
look
shooter.
a lot like that type of game, though. Like it
Yeah,
has all
like
the stuff that you would associate with a twin stick. Like I was talking about it last night about how the particles all tend to flow like a snake,
yeah.
and you get patterns of beams and particles that tend to do that thing over and over, and that is actually within the game. So they've definitely used that technology within this.
Oh, okay. And I think Resogun was out on the PS5, PS4 launch. So if I'm not mistaken, this might
Mhm.
be their first. No, that can't be right. Bear with, bear with. What do you think of the game, Jay?
Yeah, I don't think I'll play it. I have to wait and see more about it, to be honest. Kind of
Oh no,
hoping.
they've done
I
more
mean, I
games
don't
than
know. I'm
me.
hoping there's like skill trees and stuff. I don't know. We don't
This
know enough
looks
about it.
this looks like their most ambitious game to date. They are a smaller studio,
Oh,
and
they
this
did
looks
Next
double A.
Machina. That's impressive.
They did this looks very double A quality, so could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it looks double A, so we'll have to see
Yeah,
how well it does.
Jay, do you like 3D platformers? Because Sackboy, A Big
Uh,
Adventure's coming to the
I don't even want to I don't even
PS5.
want to give these next two games the bloody time of day.
Really?
They're just like really bad release games. Ones that we'll forget about and that will be infamous for being bad.
Oh, harsh
Nah, like
opinion.
nobody cares about Knack. Like nobody cares about that game.
Oh, mate, I'm talking about Sackboy, not Knack.
I know, but it's the same
Oh,
thing.
okay. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Like I don't think
What's
this thing will sell very well. I mean, if it comes free on the console, then someone's probably going to play it. But
well, developed by Sumo Digital, also not Media
yeah,
Molecule, which is interesting. But people like Sackboy, Jay. I mean, you might be underestimating the influence here of
yeah, I'm still
Sackboy.
surprised that Little Big Planet managed to get to a third game. Pretty insane. I mean, Little Big Planet came out. Little Big Planet 3 came out in 2014. Like I remember playing the first one on PS3. I want to say.
Sure.
Um, yeah, no, I mean, I can't really see this
Yeah.
thing doing that well.
Really?
You know, no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, there's nobody like us who's gonna play this.
If it reviews really well, I might try it out.
I mean, like I said to you last night, it's a little bit like Gang Beasts, right? With the sort of like the 4-player co-op type like party game almost.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be something
Yeah,
like that.
could
I'm
be.
sure there'll be a
I
group of teenagers who probably give it, play it for a laugh or something. I don't
play
know.
it for 10 minutes. I get what you're saying, Jay. I totally understand this is a launch title, which also I'm not sure if it is a launch title, but this is a game which probably won't sell phenomenally, and we probably wouldn't care about if it wasn't a launch title or near launch for PS5, which I understand. And which leads us on to another 3D platformer, Astro's Playroom. So this is from Astrobot, the VR game, which a lot of people really like. And looks like they've just developed a 3D platformer, I guess, for the PS5.
Yeah, again, pretty boring. Like I don't really see anyone playing this either.
I guess they're testing the 3D platformer space since the success of Yooka-Laylee and Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, perhaps.
I mean, I guess like these kind of games are good for like testing out VR maybe, or just like testing out what they can do with certain mechanics. I guess I don't know.
I don't think they're VR though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't think this one is. Astro Bot, the first one was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, just like they're sort of like just developing further. I guess they're just doing it because they can, maybe not because they want to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
really get it.
preloaded in your PS5 apparently, according to the trailer. So that's launch day,
Oh,
apparently.
okay. There you
If
go.
that's free, that's interesting.
If it's free, then it makes sense. But if it isn't free, then
that is interesting.
I can't see anybody paying for that.
No, yeah, fair enough. The 4 worlds that you play through are apparently based on the PS5's console components, which is a cool idea.
Yeah, that's smart.
So you're almost playing through your PS5. That is a cool new idea.
Yeah.
Next up, Jay, Destruction All Stars, which is a sequel to Bleeding Edge. No, I'm joking. Yeah, do you this? I mean, you talk about launch titles, Jay. This to me is like a complete launch title. Unless it's only because of my love of Rocket League that I'm interested in this slightly, but I probably won't play it.
Like Rocket League meets sort of like Destruction Derby, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not any particular thoughts on this
I
game,
have a
Jay.
feeling it'll be free and that there'll be microtransactions. Which is how Rocket League is, right? Rocket League's free and there's microtransactions.
Nah, you got to pay for Rocket League.
Oh, okay. Maybe it'll be like cheaper. This won't be like full price. It'll be like £20.
Yeah, it'll be cheap. Yeah.
Between 10 and 20. So yeah, I mean, if I'm like, I'd have to be really bored to play this. There'd have to be quite a big online following for me to be attached to it anyway.
Agreed. Next up, Jay.
There's too many things out there.
Yeah, no, 100%. Next up is a game you're very excited about.
Yeah, Godfall.
Godfall, the third-person Destiny, basically.
Late 2020, so it's coming this year, which I'm happy about. I think it's probably going to be launch or just after.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, there's loot, there's melee combat, there's really cool armor and weapons. Gearbox is publishing it. I'm involved. Just give me any of those words that I just said, and I'm involved. So I love me some loot.
This doesn't feel like it's going to be a bad game, but I would say that it being one of the first games we saw on PS5 has driven a lot of the interest, I think. And I'm not sure how much it would thrive in a normal console ecosystem. And also the fact it says late 2020 makes me think December, but I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'll probably guess either late December. They might even push us to January, depending on how it's doing.
Yeah, true.
This looks like it could have a really big following. I'm hoping there's some sort of online thing, maybe like a Destiny type thing where it's raids and stuff. I guess.
Yeah.
I have to look more into it, but the fact that it's melee is impressive to me. I like games where it's not just about guns, although I do prefer shooters. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's trying to operate that almost Warframe space. To be fair.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say Warframe, 100%. Like
so
Warframe,
Jay,
what's that game you said a minute ago? Bleeding Edge.
Bleeding Edge.
Yeah.
So they were the exclusives, console exclusives for the PS5. Some come and launch, some come in later. Very interesting stuff. I think looking back at that list, Jay, of exclusives, I mean, like you say, we haven't seen almost any Xbox Series X exclusives. So that's coming in July. So, I mean, looking at the list now, I think reflecting on it, I can see how much better this conference was compared to Xbox. I think it was 10 times better in terms of the quality of games.
Oh, 100%, yeah. But I mean, it could just mean that Xbox's next event is just going to be that much bigger and better, you know?
It's true. It's true.
They could be saving it all up. Because, again, we said before about, whoever kind of goes first either has all the power or none of the power at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks like Microsoft has given enough, but also not enough to be able to make up for it later on, maybe. I don't know if
Exactly
PlayStation
right.
is doing a second event with like even more games. I doubt it. I think this is probably it, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any more events, to be fair.
Yeah, I have to keep an eye
I can't see them doing a PSX with everything that's going on at the moment. Jay, we forgot something because we're fools. Demon Souls. You want to talk about frame rate?
Yeah. So what they've done on this, they've sort of involved two different modes essentially, right?
This comes from the PlayStation blog.
Yeah. So they've allowed it so you could either play it more for the quality of how it looks versus frame rate.
Which is what you can do right now for games like God of War.
I was going to say I wasn't sure if you can you do this in any games at the minute?
Yeah, you can prioritize visuals over performance. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know you could do that. I know you can do that kind of on PC. But yeah, I'm happy about. I was kind of hoping they'd do this for every game. Like it makes sense that they would be able to do this type of thing for most PS5, if not all PS5 games at this point. It just makes
100%.
sense. It's just so like if you're the kind of person who like, especially for online games where frame rate is pretty important. Where if your frame rate is at 30 versus 60, the person who's playing at 60 is going to be able to kill you quicker. Even if it is on console and people on PC have to play 60 frames or between 60 and 120 just to actually get anywhere decent. So it's very important in some instances. Don't know about like single player stuff, but I guess if that thing matters to you, then it's definitely a good idea.
Yep, no, completely agree, mate. Completely agree.
Whether they will, but yeah, I'm glad they did it with this one. It makes sense, to be honest. Especially with people who like to play these types of games on PC, they tend to do a lot better.
What would be your choice, Jay? What would be your choice? Would it depend on the game?
Probably frame rate. I definitely enjoy a good frame rate.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
All right, third party games, Jay, that we saw at the conference that got debuted, or we saw a trailer for, probably debuted though. Resident Evil Village, otherwise known as Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, they did a that was they tricked me. Like I was going, is this it? No, it can't be. Yes, it is.
Like Village, I was like, that's a cool name. I was like, oh, there's the 8.
No, they tricked me. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
There's definitely some problems with it though.
So it's first person like Resident Evil 7, but what's your problems, Jay?
So issues. There's a couple issues. Issue 1, the frame rate. It was in game. It was definitely all gameplay, and I think it was actually running at 15 frames.
Oh Jesus Christ!
It wasn't even 30. I think there were the still images, like the still bits where the camera wasn't moving or anything, was at 30, and everything else, like where it was moving more frequently, was at 15. And you could tell.
Is that because they were showing it too early?
Oh, they've showed this thing 2 years too early, minimum. I say no. I say 2 years. So the other thing I was going to say is they're saying the release date is going to potentially be. They're hoping to hit 2021, which basically means they're not going to be hitting 2021. This thing's not coming out until earliest, like Q1, maybe Q2 of 2022. Earliest.
Okay.
This thing will not be out 2021. If it's come out 2021, they haven't spent long enough on it. Unless they can fix the frame rate issue quicker, then they haven't spent enough time on it.
That's worrying for two reasons, Jay. Firstly, why would Capcom feel compelled to show us a game that's not ready, and now we've got to wait 3 years or 2 years for it? Sorry. Secondly, that actually dulls PlayStation's conference here because I don't want to see games that are 2 years out. I want to see games that are like a year, maybe just a year and a half out max. You know, We want to see games for launch, right? And like, okay, you could show us Naughty Dog's next game, but like, please don't do that. You know?
Yeah.
I personally go on.
There's something they had on the website. They were talking about there's going to be more information about it in August this year.
Okay, right.
So the next update is going to be in August. So the word I was looking for earlier is tentative. You heard this before? So yeah, they're saying 2021 tentative. Yeah, exactly. Which basically means that they're hoping to get it out in 2021, but more than likely not going to happen. So
sure. I personally thought this looked like one of the weakest games of this whole conference.
Are you joking? I was going to say the complete opposite.
Going from my gut, I do not think this game looks good.
I think this is probably second or third best looking game out of them all.
Interesting.
Yeah,
really?
I'd say, visually it looks amazing. I think the frame rate was a problem, but I think visually it looks absolutely stunning. Yeah, this is definitely next gen looking to me. It's just the frame rate was wrong.
No. It looks pretty, but from looking at the game content and what's in the game.
Okay. No, that's subject to change, and also that's just because they don't want to give too much away. I mean, I feel like you kind of have to have maybe I don't know how much of a knowledge you have of Resident Evil games, but there's definitely aspects of like snippets of the trailer where I thought, oh, okay, that's going to be big. They're definitely going to do a lot with that. Like there were parts of it where they were recognizable from previous Resident Evil games where I thought that's going to be an interesting puzzle, or that's going to be an interesting way of going around this issue and stuff like that. There's definitely parts of it that look very Resident Evil to me, and that they're definitely going to stand out versus other things. So I'm looking at the screenshots of this game, and honestly, I might actually get this. This might be an actual Resident Evil I actually play. I'm still yet to actually buy a Resident Evil for myself.
Sure.
And I think if the story is good enough, I'm tempted. I love the aesthetic of this one. I love how creepy it is. And the fact that it's first person too. I think most, if not all, Resident Evil games are third person, aren't they?
Most are, yeah.
But this is called more of a survival, because obviously 7 did that transition where it went from third to first, and it was quite a small game, I want to say too.
Fairly,
yeah. You complete 7 in a day.
Yeah, I'd say so.
If not within a few hours.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this is going to be bigger, and I'm hoping this is going to be like Resident Evil 2 style or Resident Evil 3 style of length of game, like between maybe 10 and 20, depending on how you play it.
I worry how quickly they're producing these Resident Evil games, Jay. I think it's very clear to see that Resident Evil 3 did not have enough time and attention, especially compared to Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, 2 is probably the best selling. Well, I think Resident Evil 2 is actually the remake is the best selling Resident Evil game yet, I want to say.
I know
at least.
I know it outsold the original Resident Evil 2, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
I think give this game as much time as you can, because you don't produce these games to such a high quality quickly.
I think part of the reason it's tentative is also because of Corona too, like the fact they might not be able to put as much time on it as they want to.
Sure.
Obviously, a lot of people are working from home, so if they can still do it from home, then fine. But if they can't do as much as if they're having to Zoom all the time and they can't conference and do meetings as much as they want to, then they're going to fall behind slightly, aren't they? So yeah, I think that's probably part of the issue, is just the fact they can't. I reckon if we had no problems this first half of the year, that trailer might have been in 30 frames. Very potentially, but it's definitely possible.
Could be the case. Could be the case.
Could be.
Jay, let's move on. Pragmata.
I'd say this is
From
probably my favourite of this whole thing.
Coming from Capcom in 2022, which does make you think, well, if this has got a release window, when the hell is everything else coming out that didn't have a release window? But alas, Jay, this looked like Death Stranding. Let's be honest here. Death Stranding
I'm very
2.
impressed.
What's your thoughts here? Is it a Death Stranding copy? Like, what are we thinking?
No, I don't even want to I want to look at this from a completely different perspective.
Okay.
Problem with Capcom is Capcom they can give some of the prettiest games to look at, but they end up being not that great. Yeah, I'm kind of worried. Not massively, but this will either be one of the best games of 2022 or one of the not so good ones. I'm hoping because I think the reason why this looks so good is Capcom have got a lot of money from Resident Evil. What else did What Devil May Cry did really, really well. They just had even Street Fighter 5 has been doing really well the last couple of years.
Resident Evil, yeah.
I think Capcom have sort of had this lull the last 20 odd years of not selling that well, and because they've had a bit of a boost the last couple of years, they're able to do more stuff like this. So I'm actually looking forward to what this could be. Yeah, basically, I'm reading the thing from PC Gamer right here saying, catching a faint whiff of Death Stranding, basically. So I'm hoping it has something to do with that. I'm hoping Capcom and I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This did look very up my street, I will say.
Yeah, no,
I love the whole idea of it. It looks amazing.
The trailer was the most conceptual trailer I think we saw in the whole conference, and that was really cool, and it does look really different and interesting.
Yeah, I think because I love anything that's just that looks new. I'm obviously a fan of things that look similar to other things, but when there's something completely different and I've never seen anything like it before, I'm like, right, okay, I want to play this. Definitely.
100%.
I think graphically there's definitely parts of it that could have been probably slightly better, but I think that's just from where the polish is going to come in the next 2 years.
It was CGI, wasn't it? Or was it gameplay?
Well, some of it was gameplay, 100%.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough.
Definitely.
Okay, let's move on, Jay. Next up, we've got the two Bethesda games that they showed at E3 last year. There were CG trailers that I personally got really annoyed about because I just wanted to see gameplay. We finally got gameplay for both. The first being the very stylish Deathloop.
Yeah, I'm loving the style. They make it look like a 60s, or not even a 60s, maybe a 60s movie, like a 60s or a 70s movie. Very stylized, very nice. Still not exactly sure what it is. Whether it's you were saying it could be possibly like a multiplayer type situation.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks a mix of single player and multiplayer.
Yeah, I'm hoping they'll do both. I'm hoping there'll be a really interesting campaign that's maybe 20 hours, if not more, and then hopefully a 1v1 type situation, or maybe even a 1v1v1v1, like a free for all type situation.
Well, I was watching the No Clip documentary on Arcane Studios, and they showed a game which got cancelled, which is very much this concept of a kind of it was the Dark Souls concept of let a player interrupt another player's single player game.
Okay.
Is that Dark Souls?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. And they wanted to do that, and I think they're realizing that now with Deathloop. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was single player mix and multiplayer. And this is a timed console exclusive, so we haven't moved beyond the timed console exclusives, which is driving me nuts.
Oh, so it's coming out on PlayStation first?
Correct.
And then coming out on Xbox 6 months later or something?
So, yeah, exactly. Time exclusive coming later this year to PS5. So, Jay, you seem pretty excited by this game, the gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, you said to me it's a lot like Dishonored, and that sort of made me think, oh yeah, definitely. I kind of want a Dishonored type game that isn't Dishonored.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That quite well. I love any game that makes weapons look unique, and this does that quite well.
Oh.
Definitely one of the biggest things for me is how the mechanical parts of guns look to me, or even abilities of things. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Interesting. One sec, mate. Sorry.
Someone else, you're right.
Oh, fucking hell.
I'm now looking
Right.
at a comparison of sizes of all the consoles,
Okay.
ranging from PS3 to Xbox 360 Slim, and guess which one's the biggest
Biggest console?
out of all the consoles that have ever been?
Original Xbox?
No, PS5.
No way. Have they released the size?
Yeah, the sizes are all here in comparison.
No, but I didn't think they released the size of the console.
They've done it for Series X, so they must have done it for PlayStation as well. And I'm looking at it, and it's pretty big in comparison.
No, it's unofficial, mate. Unofficial.
Okay.
But if it's anywhere near that, if it's anywhere near that, that is horrendous.
It's a long boy, that's what it is.
That is horrendous.
It's not thick, but it's a long boy, definitely.
Oh,
I think the Xbox Series X is the thickest console. It's actually like almost 3 times. It's 3 times as thick as the Xbox One X.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Millimeters wide. That's pretty insane.
Because it's like a rectangle, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So Jay, what's interesting about this next game is that it pretty much means that almost every Bethesda game now being published is a first-person game, or switches between first and third.
I was a little bit underwhelmed with this one, actually.
Ghostwire Tokyo, another concept trailer we saw last year. Jay, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, a little underwhelmed.
This is from the people who made Evil Within and Evil Within 2.
Yeah, I liked those games a lot, and they were third person.
Interesting.
I feel like this game, I still don't know exactly what it is, like how it will play out. It looks to me like a AA game that's going to last 20 hours. That's what it looks like to me.
It's AAA.
I know, but it looks AA to me.
Okay.
So I'm hoping it's actually going to be better than it looks. Which is actually, this might be a good thing for me, because this might be a thing where I'm underwhelmed with it now, but then I'll come to play it and I'll be even more whelmed with it when it comes to it.
Yeah, sure. I think you're right. I think it looked cool, but like nothing striked me about it, and it looked a bit forgettable. Like
it didn't really look next gen to me either.
No, and it looked like a mix between horror and action, but perhaps not in a good way. Like it didn't capture either of those.
I don't know if it's trying to be scary or if it's just trying to be like, I feel like a lot of horror games nowadays either go full-fledged scary or they go a little bit not as much scary, just more like the action cuts the tension too much, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
Which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, we don't know yet.
And this is console exclusive in 2021. That is really, really surprising, because that's a Bethesda game, which shows them favour with PlayStation. It's a new IP.
Bethesda have got more favour with Microsoft, right?
I would have said so, with like Fallout.
I usually associate Fallout and Oblivion and Elder Scrolls, like I associate those with Xbox.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. And it's coming to PC, which I don't want to go on too much of a rant, Jay, but people got angry because Horizon Zero Dawn was coming to PC, and then Herman Holtz came out with a statement saying, like, this is not, every PlayStation game isn't going to come out on PC, or every PlayStation exclusive. And now I think, no, it looks like almost every PS5 game is going to come out on PC.
They always say that, but I feel like it's probably a lot more true now, more than ever, just for the fact that it's closer to what PC is capable of. Like, the port isn't going to be as much of a problem, if you know what I mean.
Oh, sure.
It'll be less of an issue. Like, having to port something like a really bad game or a not as powerful game to an upscaled version to a PC thing is a lot more difficult than going from something that's closer to PC in the first place.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The fact the technology is maybe caught up is it might not be as difficult to do.
Yeah, that's true. And also, oh no,
you usually have to outsource it to upscale it, don't you? Like, if you're going to port a game to PC, usually you have to outsource it to somebody else.
Yeah,
money, so
studio.
They have to almost be guaranteed they're going to make their money back from it.
And what's annoying is that, again, Sony won't get as much flack for this as Xbox gets for putting all their games on PC, but there we are.
No.
Okay, we're moving on to some of the smaller games, Jay, that looked cool, I'd say. This next one I really like the look of, actually. Little Devil Inside.
I didn't like this.
Neostream. Oh, it says it's got survival elements. That's instantly turned me off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
like
yeah, me too,
survival
actually. Yeah, I'm
elements.
not a massive fan of survival stuff.
It had a quirky sense of humor, which I liked, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it does look probably not as good as of what I'd imagined if it was going to be something. But this again, I think I was saying this is almost like a weekend type game,
Sure.
something that you know play over the course of about 2 days, and you're sort of happy you played it, but you never play it again.
Yes, the weekend game, which we discussed.
There's
Yeah,
a few
no.
games on here that are quite like that. Actually, a lot of indie type games that seem like weekend games.
And we talked about the kind of lost art of the weekend game, right? And how, because there's so many indie games coming out, it's difficult to know which ones are worth your time.
Yeah, no, it's difficult. Usually you can sort of tell, but it's all obviously personal and opinion based on what you prefer and have played in the past. So
100%.
yeah.
100%. Another basketball's games coming out. That's all I want to say about that.
2K21, usual stuff. I will say I've seen a lot of people on my Twitter saying how impressed they are with the graphics. Definitely does. They do
Are
tend
they
to.
crazy? Are they crazy?
Well, no, I mean just like whenever it comes with like a new game of these, they always look better the next time round. Not much better, but you know, still there's still some improvement.
I'm looking at the picture of his face with sweat
Yeah.
on it. It doesn't. It looks like PS3.
I'd say probably looks more like PS4. I've definitely seen better. I don't know.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm personally not that impressed by these
I
graphics,
was saying,
man.
yeah, I was hoping they're probably going to put like a Kobe Bryant thing in there, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. You said you
Because of
hoped.
his death, there'll probably be some sort of memorial thing in the game, hopefully. If they
Yeah,
have that, I'll probably, be glad to see it.
yeah. Me too.
A lot
Me
of
too.
people will. Yeah.
Me too. Jay, next up, probably some real fans for this, really. Solar Ash, which is spiritual successor to Hyper Life Drifter, which has got
Yeah, I
quite
liked Hope
quite
Light
an
Drifter.
audience.
I love
Have
the
you
style
played
of
it?
it. I think I might have touched it. Yeah, I didn't finish it. I definitely touched it.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, so this
interesting.
is coming PS5 in 2021, which
Basically a 3D version of Hyper Light Drifter, essentially, because Hyper Light Drifter was more like an 8-bit style. Like it was
no,
like, yeah,
was it?
yes.
Oh,
I mean, it's like 2D, like pixel type game.
I know what you're saying. It is pixely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's
So this is
8-bit.
like a well, no, you know what I mean though. It's like got that 8-bit style.
It's
Not
like it
not
was.
not exactly. It's
I
like
think it was
32 or 64-bit, right?
Yeah, I think it was like isometric kind of game, like
hmm
action game.
hmm
Yeah, yeah. Will you try this, Jay?
Potentially. I do actually like the style of this one a lot more than probably Hyper Light Drifter. So
Yeah,
again,
I like the
another
trailer.
weekend style game. Probably maybe even 3 or 4 days. Have to wait and see a little bit
Jay,
more on it.
the worst game of this conference by a mile.
Oh God, I don't even want to like.
Bug
So it's
snacks.
that's honestly it's so cringy to even talk about.
So, Octodad developer Young Horses, and
Octodad
they.
was fine, and it was fine that like streamers played it, but I genuinely think this will actually won't even make its money back.
I think you might be right.
Not
Well,
even a,
people are going to
not even a
stream it,
smidge.
right? Surely.
No, I don't think they. I genuinely don't think they will. This won't sell
Mm.
at all. I'll be interested to see if it sells more than 1,000 copies.
It's going to sell more than that. Coming
No,
holiday
it will.
2020.
I don't want it to. I want them to learn a lesson. Don't make games like this. It's embarrassing, honestly. I'm embarrassed for them.
Oh god.
Genuinely, I'm embarrassed for them. Who makes games like this? This is less than A. This is like B. This is a B game. This is like a bloody
Jay,
Z.
this is a D- game.
This is awful. Honestly, I can't wait for this thing to die. Like, I get that people put time into this, but why? Why even bother?
It looks horrendous.
It's awful. My
It
God.
looks horrendous. Moving on to something much better,
Yes,
Jay.
much
I
better.
really like the look of
These
this.
next two, I was very impressed with. I won't play this one. Kenna Bridge of Spirits or Kena. We
Correct.
still don't know how it's said. It looks
I'm
more like
gonna say Keener.
I'm gonna say Kenna, but we'll see.
All right.
Yeah, I was impressed with the graphics actually. This looks like a launch title that has next gen graphics.
Correct.
I think this one will actually do pretty well.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed with it.
If it got good reviews, I might buy this on launch. To be honest.
I won't buy it, but I think it'll get 8s or 9s.
That'd be nice.
I'd say definitely an 8. It won't get less than an 8. It shouldn't do. If it gets less than an 8, then that's bad on them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's bad on the reviewer than anything else. The reviewer shouldn't be giving it anything less than an 8.
Well, it might be
It
a
looks
bad
stunning.
game, Jay.
I was gonna say if the gameplay isn't great, then whatever. But I mean, looks wise, it does look amazing.
It
But I
did. It
think
looks really
in
good.
5-6 years, this will be looked back on as like this will probably look bad. If you know what I mean, this will be like one of those things that was like people will forget.
Yeah, this is a launch title.
Yeah, launch titles tend to die off pretty quick.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Knack died off very quick, so I'm thinking this will too.
This next game, Jay, looked very, very, very
Yeah,
cool.
I love the way it looks. I don't know how political you want to get about this next one because I could tell straight away of how political this was going to get. So you said to me before how you wanted like real opinions on this.
What do you mean?
Like, so when I first saw this, I could tell straight away that it was designed to be about a gay storyline.
Really?
The moment I saw it, I thought, "Yep, gay game," and that's not in like not in a bad way, like in a way of like this is made to tell a gay storyline, 100%. And I confirmed it last night by looking up the Twitter account of the person who made this game, like the lead person, the lead writer.
Yeah.
Literally, within the first couple of like words of it was like, "Yep, gay story." I was like, "Yep, okay, makes sense." I even went onto the website, and the way that each of the characters are described on the website, they use their particular pronouns.
Oh, good, great.
So I was like, "Yep, definitely." Which kind of turned me off because I'm not a massive fan of the whole pronoun thing. But this game actually looks good enough for me to be able to play. It looks fun. I love the art style of this.
The soundtrack
looks so unique.
The soundtrack sounded amazing. I don't care about gay sort like whatever. Like Cassandra's basically a lesbian in my game.
When they shove it in your face. Yeah, same with me in that, right? I love it when they don't talk about it. If they talk about it constantly, I'm like, yeah, you're just pushing your agenda here. I don't really get what you're trying to, you're just pushing an agenda.
100%, 100%.
If they're not like even with like even within Spider-Man, right? They've got like gay pride stuff up everywhere in the game.
Yeah.
They don't push it on you. You find it, right?
Yeah.
It's not plastered everywhere. It's just if you find it, and it's not talked about that much. I hate it when people act as if it should be known to the whole world, when in reality, if you want me to be equal with you about it, then just let it happen.
100%.
Don't shove it in my face. So I'm happy that this is not necessarily shoving it in your face, but they kind of are a little bit. Like it's sort of teetering on the edge of me being like annoyed a little bit.
I do not support pronoun usage. Like you can, you
might get put away for saying that in a few years.
Oh wow.
Honestly, that's the thing. They're starting to get a bit dangerous, to be honest.
You can call yourself whatever you want. I'm not going to call you what you want me to call you. I'm going to call you probably your name because I'm polite.
I'll call you your name. Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
And to be fair, like I'm not going to be nasty about it and try and provoke.
No, it's not coming from a place of me wanting to like hate on you or anything. It's just I'd rather not tell you. I'd rather not want you to tell me what to do.
Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, like you say, like I'm not going to abide by your rules.
By your rules because you want me to. The thing is, that once it becomes law is when it becomes an issue.
Totalitarianism, not a huge fan. Not a huge fan.
No, because it's dangerous territory. But aside from that, I think if as long as I don't show it in my face too much, I'll be happy to play this. Look, again, a very fun indie weekend, probably possibly longer game.
Yeah, and the soundtrack was phenomenal.
Yes, the soundtrack looks like it could be absolutely brilliant because the whole thing is based around like the characters are in a band and there's like all this like tension and like high school drama and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, even the name. We were saying about how the name, like we're very underwhelmed by a lot of the names of the games that come up. But Goodbye Volcano High.
It's awesome.
Like, that sounds so cool. I love the name.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can tell it's like it almost kind of reminds me of like Superbad, in that it feels like a game where it's like the end of high school rather than the start or the middle.
Definitely,
like, definitely. Sort of coming towards that age where they're like leaving and becoming like adults or whatever.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this looks quite interesting. I'll have to wait and see.
Long-awaited game, Jay, from a particular series. They rebooted the series with Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, and they've been working on a reimagining for the sequel of that game, which they originally did back when, and now they're redoing it and doing a whole new game. Oddworld Soulstorm. So it is an interesting name. I won't play it. I don't really like these types of games, but I really hope they find success. And Lorne Lanning, who was in the conference, he seems like a super smart guy. And I know how hard that team... Well, it looks like to me that team has worked extremely hard on that game, and I wish them the very best and success with this game, and I hope it sells well.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that they're still going. Again, this kind of reminds me a little bit like Ratchet and Clank. Like, they've been around so long that you'd think they probably would have died off by now, but they're still going, and I'm pleased that, I'm hoping it'll do well. I mean, it probably won't, annoyingly, but I think that's just the times we live in. Like, these kind of games just feel like this game feels like a PS1 or a PS2 game to me.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it just doesn't really. I don't think it really fits in the zeitgeist of 2020 or 2021. It doesn't really feel like it fits anymore.
I know what you're saying. It definitely, though, looked like they were, breaking the boundaries of that genre. And
I feel like I kind of would have appreciated it more if they made a whole new IP, this company.
I agree.
But I think they're a bit too worried about losing out on money, so they stuck with something that they know have done at least somewhat well in the past.
Well, Lorne Lanning talked about how they never really reached the original imaginings, and also they were going to do a quintology, if that's the right word.
Yeah.
So fair play to them for sticking to what they want to do, I think.
Yeah.
Do you like cats, Jay?
So this game actually interested me in terms of like what it could possibly be. I think again this will probably be like this seems more like an indie type thing to me, even though it's got not that indie.
This looks like a great weekend game.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'll play it, but I'll probably watch someone play it, and if I like it enough, I'll probably give it a go myself.
Okay.
Again, limited time console exclusive PS5. Well, it says it's coming out on PS4 as well, so this might actually be coming out sooner rather than later.
2021, Jay.
Yeah, it says 2021, but I mean,
I know what you're saying.
Probably early 2021.
Yeah, looks really cool. Looks different. Looks like a different perspective. I'm excited to see it.
Wow.
This next one, Jay.
Yeah, you were right about this. I couldn't tell if that lettering at the top said anything, and then Jet. So Jet with two T's.
Yeah, Jet the Far Shore coming holiday 2020.
Yeah.
Probably launch PS4 and PS5 like the last game. And this one looks weird to me, Jay. I'm not convinced to get it. Looked. Oh, now I remember it now. Yeah, it looked interesting, but it looked limiting to me.
It reminded me a little bit of the game Flower. Do you remember that?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
You sort of like were the wind and you floated about.
Yeah, I played it.
Like gameplay looking type situation of that, but
space.
I'll probably watch someone play this, and if I like it, then I won't buy it, but I'll be interested in seeing someone else play it. I think.
Agreed. And lastly, Jay,
it's hard to say. Yeah, I think this actually might be one of my favorite trailers as well. The music was insane.
Best music.
I'm hoping that was like original music. Like someone wrote it for this, or like produced it for this.
I hope so.
Find out what music it is. I'm gonna look it up right now because it blew my mind.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I've always liked the idea of playing Hitman. I think I played the old ones on PS2, some of them, but they don't really hold up nowadays. And I've seen people play the more recent Hitman and been impressed by how it looks, but not enough for me to play it myself. But this actually looked pretty decent. I'm hoping this is actually going to be like a really good game.
Yeah, man. So they released Hitman 1 in episodes, which I thought matched the format perfectly. Hitman 2 full game, and it looks like from this trailer, Hitman 3 is a full game as well, coming January 2021. So not too far off, really.
Wow. Yeah. Soon. I'm interested to see actually how this does.
And this seems like one of the
only on everything though.
Yeah.
I think that's actually going to sell pretty well.
I hope it does, because I think we mentioned on the stream, Jay, or on the conference, that I think they're probably reaching Hitman's peak at the moment because of the game design and the opportunities they present. They're killing it. They're absolutely killing it.
Yeah, they really are.
So, any final thoughts, Jay? That's the end of the kind of games list. Any final thoughts on the conference, etc.?
Impressed overall. I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10.
I'll probably give it a 9.
Yeah, maybe an 8.5. I don't know.
I
As much as I like seeing indie games, there's sometimes where I just rather they weren't there, to be honest.
yeah, I feel that.
But
I feel like they're trying to.
let that, be a thing.
I feel like they're trying to push indie games to be in the spotlight when
No, I'd say last E3 or the E3 before they really pushed it. I'd say it's actually a lot less this time. Weirdly, I'd say it's probably either about the same or slightly less. But I think the overall quality of the ones I've seen in this is a lot better than what I've seen previous years.
Yes, that is true.
If this sort of event had been a few years ago and they showed a lot less quality of indie games, I probably would have given it like a 7 or like maybe 7.5. But the quality of this is a lot better indie game wise.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm impressed, definitely.
So, Jay, what have you been playing?
Yeah,
Should we move on to?
Yeah. Well, it's been a bit of a roller coaster actually. To begin with, it was the new Spider-Man. Well, I say the more recent Spider-Man game. Again,
2018.
for the third time.
2018.
Yeah. So it's my third playthrough, I think. Yeah, my third playthrough. So I've completed it 100% one playthrough, and then I've done it not quite 100% on a second New Game Plus playthrough. And I have platinum on it, so at least I've done that. But I don't know, I just felt like playing that type of game again. But then once I started playing it, I realised how much Horizon Zero Dawn was similar to Death Stranding, which I'd played recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still kind of in the mood for that, so I'll give that a go as well. It took me a minute to get into it, but once I started playing it, I really, really enjoyed it.
Horizon.
Yeah. Although I've kind of come off it again because I'm now playing Destiny 2, aren't I? Such much of a roller coaster this week, or at least the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been going in between games and stuff, which is fine. And you've been playing Destiny 2 as well.
Yeah, so I played it a little bit last night, and I've really got into it this morning and this afternoon, and I think I'm actually caught up now, thankfully.
Okay.
Starting to remember things that that I'd forgotten in previous years. So
yeah, because you played it originally when it first came out, didn't you?
Yeah, I want to say the last time I played it was like late 2017, early 2018. So it's quite a while ago. Still, I've played only the first part of the DLC when it first came out. There's 5 different actually there's technically 6 different campaigns. There's the original campaign, and then there's like 5 extra ones, and I played the first of the 5 extra ones. So I'm now having to go back and play the 4 remaining ones I haven't touched yet. So that's what I'm doing at the minute.
Okay.
And I'm enjoying it a lot, like an annoying amount. I've sort of got that bug again of like, I just want to get exotic weapons and armor, or I really want to get all the best stuff.
What's driving this new likeness for Destiny 2?
Well, I think you said it when we were chatting the other night about how the new instead of doing Destiny 3, they've basically just added a couple. They've added actually 2 more years of content onto Destiny 2. So
yeah.
They've released the names of the next 2 or 3 DLCs, I want to say.
Yeah, so they did a conference, and I want to talk about a few things about the conference, Jay, this Destiny conference. So, firstly, I think their presentation and marketing speak, if you will, their come acrossness was perfect. It was the perfect mix of necessary information and Bungie culture. And I also want to give a shout out to them because they are fulfilling the original vision of Destiny 1, which was, I think Destiny 1 was the first true console MMO. And it, in a similar way, how the MCU is the best multiverse film thing to get involved in, despite other studios starting it, because they were the first. I believe Destiny 2 might well be the best type of game that it is, despite For
Oh,
Honor
100%.
and the
The amount of
Division
games
coming
that have come
after
out
it.
since, yeah, the amount of games that have come out since that have tried to copy it in some, well, not necessarily copy it, but at least take inspiration from, have all failed in comparison. Like
Yeah,
they've obviously succeeded in how much they've sold and how, but not necessarily how much they've played. I think Destiny is probably the most consistently played console MMO in history. Like it's still got
yeah,
a massive player base,
I'd say so.
and they're starting to do in-game events now, like with Fortnite, in terms of
Huh.
like spectacles, like things in the sky that happen, or
Sure. I
stuff like
thought they
that.
happened in the
Uh,
first game.
what in Destiny?
Yeah.
No, they didn't have like anything at the tower where they showed off things. I don't
Oh
think.
no, I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I want to say really quick about Destiny how Destiny 1, Destiny 2, when they first came out, sort of made me feel a certain way about it.
Mhm.
Like I had this
Mhm.
like real passionate excitement about it, and I'm starting to feel that again now.
Mhm.
I've like these last 2 or 3 years, I've sort of felt left out from not playing it, but now that I'm involved in it and I'm starting to get more, back into it, I'm starting to feel that way again, and I'm very pleased about that.
Well, that's why I want to talk about this presentation, Jay, because I haven't given, two hoots about Destiny for quite some years now. And I always loved the fact it was based on our own solar system, and I always loved the gameplay, and
Well,
I
it's
liked,
free now, right?
I think so, the core
Yeah.
Destiny
So
2
what
game.
they've done is the core game and I think the first three DLC campaigns are all free.
Similar to World of Warcraft, then, in
So
that
basically,
sense.
so the first two DLCs are all free content now. So anything over the last 2 or 3 years, you have to pay for, but anything before that, you don't have to. Which
Sure.
I think is great if someone wants to jump in new and brand new. I mean, I'd love to play. Honestly, I'm tempted to play this game from the beginning again, just because it's so fun.
Yeah.
Like I love starting over in these types of games, just so you can like
Yeah. Me
feel
too.
that excitement from the start of it again. I love that. Like starting a game over and over is so fun. Oh man.
And yeah, I was for whatever reason, I decided to watch this conference, and I just really felt that magic I felt when I first saw some of the Destiny 1 trailers, and it really got me thinking: should I get into this game? Like, despite it having so much content, should I start getting into this game? And I checked out the achievements, and they haven't actually released any achievements past the first expansion, Destiny 2, which does put me off. I will let
It's
everyone
odd.
know.
I was gonna say like I looked at the trophies the other day for this, and I was like, there's like virtually no trophies.
There's like 23
Yeah,
or
I
something
seem
like
to
that.
remember there being like 40, but I think they might have deleted them. I don't
Interesting.
know why, but in my mind there was like so many more trophies, but that might have been Destiny 1. I could still be in that mindset.
Destiny 1 had more.
Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, I'd love to start this all over again. I really would.
Yeah, it would be really interesting. The thing that puts me off is that the achievements give me some sort of completionist state in my mind. So
Yeah.
if that's removed, I then worry that I would never feel like, I know you're not supposed to be done with the game, but I would never feel like I've done enough, and that worries me because I can't play a game
Well, I
forever.
think if I can definitely reassure you that that feeling goes away pretty quick, because I definitely had that. Actually, I want to say I didn't have it as much as probably you do now. But when I first played Destiny, I was like, this isn't a trophy game. It doesn't require me to be interested in ever completing anything. Because you like the amount of time you'd have to put into this to get even close to being completion on this is like hundreds of hundreds. Like I'd have to put close to 1,000 hours into this game for me to be even close to getting
Sure,
100%. So I literally would just like wipe that idea completely out of your mind. I
sure.
definitely think you could get all the trophies before you can get everything in game because there's just so much. There's like thousands of things to collect,
No, but
things
that's
that
what
you might even never even find because there's
I'm.
things that I've probably missed at this point that I'll never be able to find.
That's what I'm saying there. Like, I would think that I can get all the achievements, but my worry is that
Yeah,
these new expansions, if they haven't got any achievements, like when do I call the stop? When do I say this is enough now?
ah,
I've put 500 hours in. Like there is no cap, and when there's no cap, I start getting worried because then I'm like I'm infinitely putting in time and effort into this game, but what's the goal here? What's the draw? Is it to
for
finish all
me,
the content that's
it's.
available in these new packs? Is it to finish all the vaults and raids, whatever they're called, all the strikes? Like, what's the goal?
I think for me
Maximum
the
power
goal is to
level?
get to where you're happy and coming off of it. For me, it was I played it until the next best thing came out, right?
Okay.
So I think if you look at it that way, like play it until you know you're going to be guaranteed to play another game, and then you'll still. I came away from Destiny 2 only having played half of what I know what was going to come out in the future, but I was so happy with how far I got.
Sure.
Like I was more than enough. I would definitely put hundreds and hundreds of hours into this thing already. I was so happy with where I was. I didn't feel defeated at any point. There was no like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do like finish off this. I'm not going to be able to do that. I was like, I'm done. Like I need to just play this next thing that I know I'm going to enjoy, and then if I come back to Destiny, I come back to it. If I don't, I don't. You know. And it's taken me
Yeah.
3 years to come back to it. You know, almost 2 to 3 years. So it's never for me. Destiny is not going away for a long time.
Yeah. No,
But
agree.
I
And that
wouldn't be surprised if
conference, you
Destiny
get
3
that.
comes out, and then they've already got Destiny 4 and 5 planned out.
No, see, that's what I was saying. That's what they were saying, Jay. I think Destiny 3 is not coming out.
Oh no, it isn't. But I mean, like in the future.
I don't think Destiny 4 and 5 will ever happen. I think Destiny 3, like Destiny 2, I think they want Destiny 2 to last as long as humanly possible.
Hmm.
Like possibly
Yeah,
10
no, I
years.
agree. But I mean, like, I'm talking like a long, long time. I mean, well, they might even change it where if they do release a third one, it'll have everything they've had from two. They'll release it as a separate thing, and it'll probably cost full price still, but it'll have the roadmap of something that's like a 10-year. Because I remember when Destiny 1 came out, the first thing they said was, "Oh, by the way, we've got a 10-year plan for this game."
Well, that's
When did Destiny 1 come out?
2014.
So I think what they meant by that is because they've only got Destiny 2 planned out to 2022. So I reckon 2024 they'll say, right, we had a 10-year plan. The 10-year plan has been completed. We're going to continue it the next 10 years, but we're going to start fresh from 3. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen.
Nah, see, I think what they meant when
They might not call it 3. They'll probably just call it like maybe Destiny 2 continued or something.
I think they meant very much we want to launch a game and just continuously update it.
Yeah, just keep. The thing is, there was a bit of a problem with that. I remember them saying that the more they add on to this single game, the harder it is to make it playable, essentially.
Yeah, and they discussed this in the conference, and that's why
Yeah.
they're actually removing the most unplayed.
Yeah. So what they've done is they've almost like
element.
vaulted it, essentially, haven't they? They've put things in the vault.
Yeah, so they're putting gameplay aspects in the back storage room while they're
Yeah.
not being played, so that allows them to continuously update the game.
So this is why partially why I was worried about playing it now, like me having to play it now, because I have a feeling the content that I've missed out on, they're going to put in the vault, and I'm not ever going to be able to play it again. So if I get it done now, I'll be able to play it and not have to worry in the next.
And that is a worry for me as well.
I'd be worried a little bit for you, because then that means you're missing out on a whole 2 or 3 years worth of content, and then you'll probably never be able to play it again. Unless you
Yeah.
started like right now.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to catch up.
Do games like Destiny make money from microtransactions then?
100%. They've got silver in-game currency.
Okay.
And it's like emotes, it's like color schemes and skins and stuff. Yeah.
My next question then is that are we saying that financially it is almost as viable to continuously update a game with expansions like Destiny 2 than release Destiny 3? Is that the future we're looking at here?
Yes and no. Yes, that is true, and no, I think at some point they will release Destiny 3.
Really?
They have to. But
Why?
what they'll do is they'll get to the end of this year 4 expansion, right? Or the year, even because it's up to 2022 they're doing up to. Like I said before, I really think they'll have to, because they're not. I mean, I don't think they'll necessarily. I think they'll probably name it 3, but they won't. You'll still be able to play it within the Destiny 2 content, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So what will happen is they'll literally just put an update to it. They'll change the 2 to a 3, and they'll just continue the rest of the content. That's what I think. I'm hoping that's what will happen.
But if they release, which they announced, they're going to put a PS5 and Xbox Series X version out there. There is no reason to release Destiny 3.
No, so I reckon it'll still be a free game, and the content that's out now will be part of the free content in 2022.
Sure.
That makes sense. So you won't be able to play.
Yeah.
So the expansions that have come out the last 2 years will now go into the free content, and then the expansions that are coming out over the next 2 years now, between now and 2022, will then have to be paid for.
Yeah.
So I reckon we might even see this last 2 lots of content become free either this year or next year or the year after.
I agree.
And then the stuff that was free 2 or 3 years ago and now will be put away forever, and you won't be able to play it ever again until they say that you might want to or whatever.
Because of these live service games, Jay, we're looking at the first true console generation where console integration saves is going to be a huge thing, and like,
so
and
yeah, I need to talk to you about this actually. You know how we talked about there being a possibility of playing this crossplay?
yeah,
So what they've done is, I didn't realize this till the other day. I booted it up and it gave me the option of something called cross save.
yeah, they've got
So
this.
if you don't have a save on Xbox and you do have one on PlayStation, you can literally transfer your save onto another console.
Yeah,
That's insane.
yes,
That's
it's the
so
future.
amazing. The fact
It's
that you
the
can do
future,
that is the future. That genuinely is the future.
and
That's amazing. That blew my
crossplay is the
mind.
future as well.
Yeah, a mixture of crossplay and cross save, I think definitely. It's like the short term solution to crossplay eventually in the future. That's what it is.
And intergeneration gameplay. So that's if you have a PS5, you'll play Destiny 2 with PS4 and PS5 people. That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
think I did that with Destiny 1. I think I go from 360 to Xbox One on Destiny 1? Can't remember if I did or not.
I honestly
I
don't know.
might have done. Oh yeah, they've definitely that's been a thing for a while though.
Okay.
With some games where they've been able to go cross generationally.
Okay.
But that's almost a guarantee. If they didn't do that, I think there'd be a bit of an uproar.
Well, to finish, Jay, I do think Destiny 2 gives a special feeling, and it gives a unique, to me, that is the best type of game in its genre, apart from maybe Siege, but that's not really, it's a PvP type thing. So, so it's exciting to see it carry on its future and to see these huge expansions come and such a hefty roadmap laid out for it as well.
Mm.
So, Jay, I've been playing. I've been carrying on my Odyssey. Nothing else to report, guys. Sorry. I'm at nearly 100 hours in. So, yeah, that's
Getting there.
I'm making progress. And I finished the Wolfenstein 2 Season Pass content, which the last episode is the worst of the three. And I wouldn't buy it unless it was like £3, to be honest with you. I wouldn't recommend it, really. It's a bit tedious. But yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, I actually deleted Wolfenstein off of my PlayStation because I just wasn't convinced that I was going to play it anytime soon. I think it's going to be a little while longer, maybe next year or the year after. I mean, I might actually never get around to it because there's so much coming out now. So
fair enough. Fair enough.
See with that, but I do want to do it. It's just I know what it takes, so it's just a bit more great. Just takes a lot more out of you.
Shall we move on to the news?
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the transition you're going to do. I want to see if you can pronounce this because I have it in Google Translate, and I want you to put it in there as well and do like the listen button to see if you can like.
All right.
So you want to listen to it first? I've listened to it already, just so I knew what it sounded like. But I want to hear you say it before you actually know how to say it.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
You did German, right? Me and you did German.
Yeah, we did German.
Yeah, I did German.
Okay. Right. Hier sind die Neuigkeiten.
That's very close, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Sick.
Actually, that was actually pretty spot on.
Was it?
Yeah, that was pretty spot on. Yeah, you got it.
Cool.
So that's basically like, here is the news in German.
Oh, fantastic, Jay. That is awesome. That is awesome.
Some more next week or whatever.
That is awesome, Jay. That is awesome.
Yeah. I think it's actually like it's good to do it in a different language just because it sounds cool too. It's probably a lot easier with the accent. Like it's probably harder to say that in a German accent with English.
Yeah, I'd say so. Probably.
Yeah, exactly, and probably a little bit cringy in comparison.
I would rather give it a go. Yeah, you're right, because my accents are awful. But actually, my German one's okay. I did it in the kitchen.
Not too bad.
But it comes up across a bit Austrian. It's all stereotypical in it. Who cares?
Exactly, stereotypes.
All right, Jay. So we've got only a couple of news stories. Obviously, it's been a hefty
we've already
week.
Pretty much done 2 of them already. So
yeah. So do you want to go through what you want to go through the news story?
Yeah. So I was just going to talk very briefly about how Summer of Gaming is back up and running. And it's already begun with IGN.
Yes, this is IGN's Virtual E3, basically.
So it was supposed to start on June 6th, but because of all the riots, they pushed it to June 10th. The same with PS5 event, they pushed it a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've already had quite a few trailers come out from the last couple of days. The one that came out, sort of stood up to me was the Werewolf the Apocalypse game I was talking to you about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You said it might, I think I even said it's one of those games you look at and it kind of it reminded me a little bit like the vampire game that I really, really like. So either it's going to be really good or really bad. Like it's definitely a double A game, but double A game can be deceiving, and double A vampire game is in my top 5 at least. So I'm looking forward to this one definitely.
Yeah, no, 100%.
The other one was Mortal Shell. We sort of got to see some gameplay of Mortal Shell, which is that sort of like Soulsborne looking
Yeah,
thing.
what to say? It looks like a Souls game. I'm not sure. They said you can only get 4 shells. I'm a bit disappointed by that.
I think that's 4 shells at a time.
Okay.
But the way the thing I saw is that the way you get shells is you have to like talk to the person you get the shell from, and the more history you learn of that person, the better abilities you get of their shell.
Sure.
So whether it is 4 across the whole game or 4 at a time, and you can like swap them out as like different guns essentially, different weapons. That'd be
Okay.
pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. And then lastly is Borderlands 3, the new DLC, Bounty of Blood. They just showed a little bit of content from that.
Looking forward to playing that.
Yeah, I don't know when that's coming out, but
End of
again,
June, I
looking
believe.
forward to it. Really? Wow, that's soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Jake,
then,
when I
yeah,
was watching, sorry, I just cut you off.
go
When I was
for it,
watching these trailers on the Summer of Gaming, it did start making me feel like E3 is happening, which is nice.
yeah. Yeah, E3 has begun. We can officially say E3 began 2 days ago.
Wouldn't it be
But
cool if E3 moves in like to a cultural event rather than the actual event? That'd be cool.
I think it actually might do better
Or
if it does what it's doing now on IGN. Like spread it across a whole month
yeah,
or like 2-week period. It just makes more sense to me.
definitely.
Yeah. Plus they're guaranteed more views at that point as well.
Agreed.
Because if you release everything in 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, you're not going to be able to watch everything straight away. Whereas if you release it over the course of weeks, you're then going to be guaranteed to watch it sooner rather than later.
Exactly. Can you watch
Yeah.
5 Marvel films in a year or 2?
Yeah, exactly. What would you rather have? To spread the, too much of a good thing sometimes. So
100%.
spreading it further is definitely better. And then yeah, just to say about how the rest of the dates are, up to June 25th, I think is when it ends. So
That's quite far then.
yeah, 2 weeks or so. A little over 2 weeks. Just still got they actually give a few of the games they're showcasing each every day. So they'll tell you what's coming up. So at least we have that information too.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to the rest of it.
Yeah, it should be good. A few more big reveals to come, I think, and some more cool trailers to see.
Mm-hmm.
And then next, Jay, last on the news, I guess.
Yeah.
This is a really detailed article.
Yeah, I
From
might have to leave this potentially. I might just like briefly say it, and then we might be able to go in depth another time. I want to just give like a brief thing of it. It's basically like a load of game developers, like the lead developers of certain games, who said what have been their favorite game of the last 10 years and why. The ones that stood out to me was a guy who did the lead creative officer of Platinum Games, who did Bayonetta.
Yeah.
He actually has 2. He has GTA 5 and Monument Valley.
Interesting. Monument Valley?
Yeah, I'm going to look at what Monument Valley is.
Stardew Valley?
That might actually not be it. I think they might have like... Let's have a look. Is there a game? I feel like I've heard of it before. Oh, it's one of those type of games. It's an iOS game. Yeah.
Jesus.
Mobile game. It's a lot like Fez. Remember Fez?
I do.
Yeah, it's like a smooth version of Fez, essentially. It's like a mixture between Journey and Fez.
Okay.
Very stylized, very nice. I can agree with that. GTA 5, like of the last decade, is probably one of the better games of this decade in terms of like global renown, maybe.
Oh yeah, one of the biggest games ever made.
Yeah.
So this comes from Cam Shea at IGN also, and it's really quite a hefty article. Like we're talking probably hours of reading at this point, but
Definitely.
very
It's just interesting
cool.
to see. Like maybe even we just
Yeah.
say like people check out themselves. It's just interesting to
100%.
see that like what people have made some of our favorite games have also enjoyed themselves during the last 10 years.
100%.
Yeah, there's some very, very interesting like games you wouldn't have considered yourself maybe, or have even like remembered. There's like games in here. I mean, there's definitely people who have got to give the obvious answers of like maybe like Last of Us and stuff like that, but some ones in here that are just very unique and maybe they say them more because they personally enjoy them versus like a global version of enjoyment. I like when people are like very honest about their opinion on a game like that. It makes a lot of sense.
And it is really cool because developers have such different impressions on different games, and it makes you realize just how different people's tastes are in games.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm very pleased. I'm going to have to give that a proper read at some point.
Jay, it's time for Guess Who's Review.
Yeah,
It's your turn.
It's my turn.
I should make a little thing for that. All right, Jay, I'm ready when you are, sir.
Okay, so I have to decide which one. I've actually done two, and I want to decide which one I want to do. I think I'll go with the first one. Okay.
Just for the ladies and gentlemen at home, this is Jay has picked out. So every week, me and Jay take turns in picking out a random review from a random media outlet of a random video game, and we give each other three. Well, have you done 3 quotes, Jay?
Yeah, 3 quotes from the.
Yeah, 3 quotes. Try and guess the game. So far away, Jay.
I'm just worried these are too obvious. That's my only issue. I did try to find ones that weren't. I mean, I had to give you like initially one that wasn't, and then go progressively more obvious just to make it,
that's all right.
Somewhat doable.
We're still learning the ropes. It's okay.
Okay, number 1. Are you ready?
I am ready. Oh, so exciting.
Okay, right. Okay. The unsettling nature of the world is heightened by the fact there is no specific HUD to speak of. That's your first one.
Interesting.
I'm gonna. Did you say before? So we do a guess and then we move on to the next one, right?
Yeah, and then a few guesses at the end.
Okay, right. So do you want to have a guess? I'll let you have a little think. Do you want me to read it again?
God of War.
Okay. Okay. So do I say whether it is or isn't now, or just
yeah? If I've got it right, then yeah.
Okay, but if you've got it wrong, do I say you've got it wrong, or do I just say
I've got it wrong? Yeah. You can tell me I've got it wrong.
That's it. It's definitely not God of War.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, shall we move on to the second one?
Oh, God of War's got. What am I talking about?
I was going to say, yeah. Why did you even say that?
No, okay, no, that's my mistake. Yeah, all right, carry on.
Okay, next one. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see how much I want to read of this. Okay. Since you'll need to use strategic dismemberment to weaken and effectively kill them, the right weapon in the right situation can be a fine line between life or death in the game.
Very, very good. It's
I wasn't sure. Yeah, it's Dead Space.
Yeah, boy.
Well done. I had a feeling that was going to be too obvious, but okay. Yeah, you did really well there.
Completely messed up that first. That first quote is awful from my part. Yeah, go on, mate.
Right, yes. Last one is, this is one of those games that you'll want to just listen to late at night with the lights off if you're looking to get freaked out. Which I think I probably should have said second rather than last, but there we go.
I would agree, but it's okay.
I should have swapped those 2 round, but there we go. I'm glad you got that. I remember you saying last week about how we wanted it to be a game that we knew that we'd like one of us would definitely be able to guess rather than too an obscure of a one.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, well at least I've got that one good, and then next week I've already got. Well, actually, no, 2 weeks from now I've already got another one prepared. So,
but there will be games that are niche that we will both know.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. I have to just think of one that will.
Very cool. Very cool, man. Good, yeah. Okay, cool. Just to let everyone know, they can write into the Game Opinion, the TGO show, at contact@thegameopinion.co.uk, or you can do your very best to find us on social media. Think of yourself as a treasure hunter. but there's just no treasure at the end. Just two gaming nerds instead.
Exactly.
Jay, we're actually reached the end of the show. It's been quite an exciting. Think of it as a shorter, burstful bunch of energy, I'd say.
Plus, are we including any of our reactions to the actual PS5 thing?
So I haven't actually looked at the recording yet. I don't think so, because while I think it looks really good putting that in YouTube, I don't think it will work audio wise, because like people are just going to be hearing like noises and stuff.
Very true.
So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with that.
Okay, maybe you like play it. No, you don't know if you'd be able to do that.
We could always just say, oh, like for audio listeners, this is like we're going to turn to the video bit. So it's difficult to say, or we say skip to blah blah. But
or maybe just have it as like a secondary thing on its own. As like an extra
bonus,
like a bonus part, a bonus episode, maybe like 13.5.
This is why we're a team. This is why we're a team. 13.5. So yeah, you can listen to it if you want to. Oh, Jay, you're a genius.
Have a separate thumbnail.
Oh, genius! I'll check out the recording later tonight, anyways.
See if it needs anything he's cutting out from it.
Yeah, and just see if it's any good, basically.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. Well,
okay, Destiny 2. Looking forward to it. Want to do the rest of the campaign. The plan is to have it done by end of June, just so I can play the new Borderlands update when it comes out. That's definitely the plan.
DLC. Yes.
And also, I don't want to miss out on any of the stuff I've already, potentially could have missed out once this thing comes out in September. So, need to get it done. And I'm not like in a rushy mood to get it done either. Like, I know I'll have plenty of time to do it, so I'm just going to enjoy myself. I'm going to play it as slow as I want. I've been finding more recently that I'll play a game 2 hours in the morning after I get up, have lunch, and then if I play it between 1 and 4, I do. If I don't, then I don't. I just might watch a film that day. I mean, tonight I'm probably not going to go on Destiny. I'm probably going to watch a film tonight. So
you want to finish the story for all the main expansions?
I want to finish all the story stuff. I hopefully want to get at least in the mid 900s in terms of light level, and if I get to there, then I'll be happy.
Okay.
I want to get some more exotic engrams and weapons, and do a few of the quests. If I can do those, then I'll be happy.
Yeah. Okay.
I know it's sort of like a personal sort of barrier that I come to where I can't progress anymore because my mental skill level isn't there. So I think that's where I finished last time. Actually, there was a raid that came out and I just couldn't. I tried for hours with people online and they couldn't even do it with me. So my skill level and their skill level obviously wasn't good enough for me to be able to progress.
Sure.
So I hit a wall, and I hit the wall not feeling defeated but feeling I guess fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as I can get to that, if I can get to that point again where I hit the wall and go, I can relax now, then I'm good.
Sure.
I just want to hit that wall, baby. I want to get to that point and just feel happy about finally getting there.
Where you're at, yeah.
Definitely, that's the plan. What about you?
Odyssey, casually, and as you know, Jay,
I want to talk to you about this a little bit. So I watched the review earlier, the IGN review, because I'm almost guaranteed not to play this game. I'm not going to say anything. I'm literally not. Don't worry. I'm not going to say a single thing about this that's going to worry you in any way.
Okay.
I think what I will say about it is from people who there's basically a whole sort of wave of people who are hating on this game massively, more to do with the political side of it than the actual gameplay itself. I think gameplay wise, this looks phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of story, I think, like I said before about the sort of the gay agenda, essentially. They even had that a little bit in the first game, right? From what I know.
Kind of.
Yeah, I feel like they're. It might be maybe more my just exposure to it, to the online criticism around it, but it sort of made me not want to play it more, just because of how harshly they're pushing that a little bit. It might seem like it's not being pushed at all to some. If I was an outsider and wasn't a gamer who was constantly on Twitter all the time, I'd probably be a lot more excited about ever playing these types of games. I think from a gameplay perspective, I think this game is just it's genius level. I can see why people love these games. I absolutely adore these games in terms of what they've done for gaming kind, as it were.
Yeah, gaming kind. I like
Gaming
that.
kind. I think it's a genius level game, and I don't know if they'll do another one. Do you think they'll do another one after this, without knowing anything about the story?
Without knowing anything, no, I don't.
Do you think this will be the last Last of Us, and they'll just do a similar type thing, like Naughty Dog will just move on to something else?
Yeah, I think they'll probably do a new IP.
I'm
whether
hoping so.
whether they do
I want to
Last of
see
Us,
this level type of game, like AAA level, but with a different IP, different story.
yeah, I'll have to play it and finish it before I can
I
say
honestly
for
can't wait
certain.
for you to finish it, my God. I can't wait for you to
Oh,
to
Jay.
just have that. I don't want to. I don't want to torture you before you. Honestly, I kind of don't want to torture you before you while you're playing it. If that makes sense.
I just want to let everyone know, and you know, Jay, that the hype levels are getting pretty nuts right now for me.
The closer we get. I mean, it's a week today, so the closer we get.
It's getting
So,
pretty nuts, Jay.
are you playing it day one? Like,
I'm aiming
regardless
to.
of where you are on Odyssey.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Odyssey, I thought about this. Thank you for bringing it up. Odyssey is going to be my, what would you call it? Comfort game, comfort food.
I guess it's kind of going to be like your Red Dead, right? Where you finish it when you want to, not because you have to.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling a little bit with Destiny. It's kind of like a good mixture between have to and want to.
Yeah, exactly. And as soon as I start thinking I need to finish Odyssey, it's game over because that game's too big to rush.
I think what's good about where you are in Odyssey is actually I think as long as you don't get to the point where you need to start playing the DLCs before you play Last of Us, I think you'll be happy, because if you don't touch those DLCs, if I can imagine if you were in the middle of the DLCs, you'd probably feel a bit crappier about leaving it alone.
I agree.
But
yeah,
I think because of where you are in the main story, it genuinely doesn't even matter. Like, you could come back to it whenever you wanted to, and it'd still be fine. It's not going anywhere. 100%. So yeah, I'm happy for you. I'd love to be in your position where, like, if the new Spider-Man was coming out next week, I'd be just exactly in the same spot. So.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of Odyssey as like I've got a million podcasts to listen to.
Yeah,
it's going to be there for me. It doesn't matter. The thing with Last of Us Part 2 is I know that I'm going to finish it in a weekend.
You do?
Or I'm gonna try my absolute hardest to do so.
Well, are you going to play at Nick speed, J speed, or ridiculous speed?
No, Nick speed, but I'm just going to spend all day.
Oh, okay.
And I mean,
yeah, I was going to say, I feel
day.
like the reason why Nick speed is called Nick speed is because you don't play it all day, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, the only reason, like, I reckon my speed is probably the same. It's just that I tend to play more hours during the day.
Probably, because like I can assure you that I probably haven't genuinely played a game from dusk till dawn in quite some time.
Oh, I've done it. I do it all the time. I did it with. I did it with Odyssey. Every day was just like 10 hours. It was between 10 and 12 hours a day.
Sure. Yeah. I did good stints on Skyrim, and I did do a few good stints on Odyssey when we started out, but yeah.
So, what was the last game you played where you played it the first time and you finished it for the first time, all playing it dusk till dawn? Because mine was Odyssey. That was my last one, where I played it all day, every day, from start to finish. Because I feel like, I don't know. I mean,
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, that'll probably be it. That makes sense. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Makes sense.
So yeah, I haven't seen the scores, Jay, right? But the one thing I will say, okay, is that I swear on my life this is true. I haven't seen the scores.
Yeah, you need to be careful right now, my guy, because I can imagine if you go on Twitter, you're screwed.
Okay,
if you go on YouTube for anything, you're screwed. It's going to be everywhere.
Okay, well listen. First of all, everyone giving it 10s, and I'm not saying they have, but I'm saying they have because I know they have, even though I don't know they have, right? Okay. Why would you assume any other outcome from a studio that has only produced 10 out of 10s since Uncharted 2? Why would you assume anything else? Why would you assume that Rockstar is going to make anything less than a 10 out of 10?
No, I think Rockstar's different. I think Rockstar's different.
Fair enough, but
I think Rockstar's average is like 8 or 9, right?
Anyone surprised by Last of Us Part 2 getting 10 out of 10 has not been listening. Okay, I've heard people being like, "Oh, is Last of Us 2 going to be as good as Last of Us 1? Oh, is it going to be?" And I've said the whole time, you guys, have you played The Last of Us 1? The same people are making it.
Yeah.
It's going to be better.
Thing is, if it was the same or worse, you'd probably feel cheated.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It has to be better. It has to be. It's been
There is
4 years
no other
or so,
outcome.
right? It has to be
Dude,
better.
there's no other outcome.
It has to be. There's no other outcome.
It's the same thing with Red Dead 2, mate. Like, before it comes out, people are like, oh, is it really going to be that good? I'm like, guys, you all doubt so much. There's so much to be angry about in the games industry. And when some of the best studios in the world are making some of the best games in the world, all we're thinking about is doubt. It's just so wrong. Like, Cyberpunk 2077, it's like, I feel like that's the one game which people aren't doubting, and that's a good sign, you know?
Well,
And I know I'm not
a bad one.
I'm not saying, as we've said before, that you should get your expectations high. I'm saying that I've got faith in the game, and that I have no doubt. And this isn't me getting my expectations up. I'm just saying that I have no doubt that it will be one of my favorite games. Probably. It might not be.
I mean, that's about as much as you can say, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't really say much more than that.
But it's getting real, mate. You know,
very real.
It's getting real. It's getting pretty ecstatic. I'm getting to the point now where it's getting hard to contain myself, to be honest.
Okay.
It might be my most anticipated game of all time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've got one. I guess Cyberpunk, definitely up there.
I mean, Red Dead 2 was up there, to be fair, and I had longer to think about that, but yeah. So I will hit Jay next week. No, see, here's the thing. I won't finish it before the recording, so if I get it Thursday for any reason, Jay, we're gonna have to wait until I've finished it. I'm afraid.
That's fine. Probably worth it, to be honest.
So yeah, I'll let you know. But thank you for letting me go on that rant, Jay.
Yeah, no, I do. Definitely.
Anything else you want to say, Jay, before we finish the show?
I'm actually, I think, for the first time in about 2 weeks, I'm looking forward to the next week. Gaming wise, I felt a bit sort of. I haven't not necessarily disappointed in myself, because I've actually got to watch and read quite a lot of entertainment that I've wanted to, like comics and TV shows that I've missed out on. So I'm glad I've spent the last week to catch up on that, so at least I can get back into something then.
Yeah,
happy about that.
Good. I'm glad. Well, I don't know, how long the games you're going to play in summer, and summer gaming. I don't know what you're going to play in that period, but I know that kind of whenever Cyberpunk comes, the things are going to start be flowing, and I'm talking we're talking new consoles and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Once the new consoles start coming in, then we'll